Well, welcome to another episode of the Esports Classroom Podcast, just a little project where we're talking to esports coaches, high school, college level, and others involved in esports, just to kind of talk about all the different issues and the kind of experiences around esports. Today I've got our college coach with us, so I'm going to let Alby introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Albert Rassavong, aka Alby Fresh or Alby. I'm currently the assistant director at Buena Vista University. I'm also the commissioner of the Collegiate Fighting Game Conference. And that's my main two things I'm really known for in the collegiate space currently.
So Buena Vista up is in the northwest quadrant of Iowa. I'll say that.
Yep.
Um, about how many students do you have competing in esports, and what titles are you guys playing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like out of every single college, we're currently one of the largest rosters in Iowa, if not the largest varsity. I mean, we're the largest varsity roster for sure. That there's no contesting that. But in terms of rosters, I'm pretty sure we're closer. We're one of the biggest. If it's not Iowa State, it's definitely us. We currently have 92 students. The games that we're offering are basically a lot of the things that we offer, like students that come with us, like are on campus. So like TFT, sports titles, Rocket League, Valorant, League of Legends, Marvel Rivals, Rocket. I don't know if I said Rocket League, but Rocket League,
Yep.
Valorant, Call of Duty, um, and Smash. So we have like 12 titles, and we do fighting games as well. So like I said, we do a little bit of everything. We're kind of the school, the all-encompassing school, like is what I like to call it, um, which is really nice. So we have about 2 to 3 teams on each game.
So I mean, one, that's a lot of titles, so that's good.
Yeah,
Shows
yeah,
that you got a lot of interest in there too. I know you have one of my former students
yes,
up
I do.
there playing Rocket League, a former state champ.
Yep.
We'll hope to repeat this year without him, but we'll see. Um, so looking at some of those titles, like how many coaches do you have involved with this with you?
We're lucky. We're one of the luckier programs where our budget allows us to hire coaches as needed. So each of the games have separate coaches. Most of them have an individual coach. There's some games that I'm really good at. Obviously, I was sponsored to play Smash and Tekken, and I played a lot of League of Legends. I had Challenger in League. Did pretty well in Overwatch. So I'm just a gamer in general, so I can coach most of the games. So some of the games I will really coach, but other games I'm like, y'all are too good. I'm gonna hire a coach for you guys, and we're gonna figure it out. But they all have their own individual coaches almost.
That's good. I mean, that's kind of the important thing. Like you have to have the people knowledgeable about the game, knowing how to play.
Yeah.
So how did you get involved in esports yourself?
Yeah, so I was playing JUCO basketball, if you believe it. If you don't know me, I'm 5'7", I'm short. I was playing JUCO basketball and I actually got injured. So after my first semester playing, I got injured, messed up my knee. And the biggest thing about short players is you have to be quick and fast. If you're not quick and fast, it's really hard to keep up, especially if you're not tall.
Yep.
So I had to figure out something else to do. I kind of got lost. I dropped out of college a few times. Wasn't really committed to what I was doing and what I wanted to do. So I was like, all right, I gotta find something that I'm really good at and something that I want to do. Um, got my nail tech license in Alabama. Then was like, I hate doing any technical degree and ever. So I was like, let me not do that. Um, went to Hawkeye Community College, saw that they had esports, was like, let me try out for this. So I tried out and they offered me a scholarship to play League of Legends there and played a League of Legends there for a year. Had amazing teammates, amazing time. Was one of the best programs in the state at the time, and met Chase Newcomb at St. Ambrose and went to St. Ambrose and played there for 3 years. And that's my start into esports. A lot of things happened while I was at Hawkeye and St. Ambrose, where I was like, oh, maybe I could be a pro player. And then after that dream fell through, I was like, okay, where do I want to do? Where do I want to go? And I kind of realized that I want to continuously impact students' lives who are like me, because unfortunately in America, a lot of the esports scene is predominantly white.
Hmm.
So I was like, maybe if I find students who are like me, who didn't like college, who couldn't stay in college, who couldn't financially afford it as a minority, and maybe I can continue push them and show them that maybe you can use esports as a vehicle and become better.
Yep.
So that's my main thing.
Well, I think that's like your story is kind of the thing we hope for. Like esports is the thing that gets students involved, keeps them
Exactly.
engaged, and keeps them. For me, at the high school level, I want them to graduate. That's my big thing. I also want them to think about something beyond high school,
Yep.
and then hopefully get involved in something beyond high school and stay committed to that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing I wanted to do was like, hey, like your family might not be a traditional college family. Your family might not even know what college is, but let me help you. Let me be that person to kind of guide you and lead you. And I've been very blessed and, thankful for my college counselors and the professors that I had who continued pushing me and was like, hey, like, I'm non-traditional as well. Like I'm a first generation, student as well. And you can definitely do this. Like with your unique vehicle and pipeline, it's so doable. And that I was
Yep.
very thankful for that. And I want to be that person too, It's always great to see people like that.
Well, you also kind of touched on another thing, like the fact that esports can get to people of all kind of demographics and all socioeconomic status levels. There's an esports coach I was talking out with, uh, runs an organization out in New Jersey, and one of the big things he pushes through is just the fact that this is something that is available to a lot more people because video game systems are very predominant. I mean, maybe not high-end gaming PCs are expensive, but
Yeah.
consoles have this cheaper entry point where a lot more people are playing video games at home, and it's an easier thing to get into than maybe traditional sports, even because nowadays, if you want to be really good at a sport, you're not just playing at the high school level, you're playing club level, you're getting training from other people. There's a lot of money being invested, and that kind of gatekeeps that a little bit from people.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So when you're doing traditional sports, like just like you said, you're playing from a very young age, and you'll see these kids who play on their high school team as middle schoolers. So it's like an Ames like middle school basketball team
Yep.
or Ames elementary basketball team, and they played together all the way to their senior years. And not only are you playing with that team every single year, you're playing with a travel team or a select team, and that's thousands and thousands of dollars that you have to invest in traveling, in gear, in the program, hiring the coaches and stuff like that as well. So it is an incredible cost. On top of like, if you're not the biggest or if you're not the most physically fit for that sport, you might not be playing at all.
Yep.
And the best thing about esports, like you said, obviously the high end PCs aren't really accessible, and it's the reason why I created CFGC as well. Was like, what games are most people playing? Right, they're playing console games, so you're seeing a lot of like the Pokemon Unite, a
Yep.
lot of the Smash Bros, Rivals Aether, Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat, all those console games that you can get into. And it makes it a really accessible thing because like what physical limitations do you have other than your own mental, when you're playing, when you're competing in these games and trying to play them, there's nothing that holds you back. There's no one that's going to be like, you can't do it because
Yep.
anyone can play games. And that's the amazing thing. It's super accessible and super great.
Yeah, and oftentimes we find people that play on esports, like you don't have to be the best player overall. You have
Yeah.
to be a really good teammate. You have to be committed. You got to be able to play that role. And actually, another thing with accessibility is that not a lot of people know this. There are very accessible controllers for the consoles out there, especially
Yeah.
Xbox. Even though Xbox is not really doing really well right now, there are like PlayStation even has this too, where there are controllers designed for people who have mobility issues, dexterity issues, all that to help them play. We think about some games that have added audio, well, visual, and for the audio component helps those who have a hearing loss, kind of like me. But I just crank my headphones up. That's all I need to do.
Yeah.
There are a lot of ways around that, and so esports becomes open to a lot more people.
Yeah, and that's like one of my favorite things is like going around to a big fighting game tournament and seeing all these different type of controllers
Yep.
that people use, especially if they have accessibility issues or they have stuff that they can't do. You see good like Guitar Hero is a controller in fighting games, or you see like really cool small keyboards or even mouse controllers. I see someone with a
Yep.
mouse controller that was really sick. So yeah, it's amazing to see what limitations can be pushed while being in esports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of wish I could get around to more competitions because I'd love to see everybody involved in this. I've been lucky to go to, I was at an education technology conference in Omaha once,
Yeah,
and they actually did part of their state tournament there. So it was kind of fun to see because
yeah,
obviously I get to see the Iowa teams. I
yeah.
like to see the other states. I've been meaning to go and travel to the other states, pesky day job getting in the way. Um, so as a coach, what are some
Yeah.
of those big things that you drill into your students? What are those things you focus on in practice?
This is one thing that I'm always preaching to high school students, college students, just any student in general, right? Like, I don't think, and I have to, every time I come visit a high school, I always bring this up first. It's like your grades are gonna help you more than any other scholarship will ever. You have good grades, it will carry you through college. It
Mm.
will carry you through high school. Like it will carry you through everything. That's something I drill in. It's like, hey, you have good grades. It's gonna lead you to great places. Like use that. You try to have good grades. Try to be a good person. Because not only does good grades show you that help you in financial aid in college, but it also helps you show you like you can be disciplined. The coach is like, hey, this kid has great grades. I want him because he has good grades. He's a good kid. He shows
Yep.
me that he can be disciplined, right? In terms of gaming sense, it's like, what kind of drive do you have? What kind of mental do you have? How are you going to show me how you're going to grow, right? What are you going to do to become a better person? And that's one thing that's a little bit different from our program versus a lot of other programs. Is like, I'm trying to build a program where competition is kind of a second thing.
Hmm.
Obviously, we want to be good, right? But
Yep.
the first thing is building potential, um, like opportunities for the students to do whatever they want, whether it be making graphic designs, coaching, streaming, casting, being a pro player if that's in their future, right? Obviously that's a low percentage, but if it could happen, we'll try to make it happen.
Yep.
So it's making sure that you have, and I'll do this to every single player. What do you want? What are you going to get out of this? Tell us what you want. How do you want to grow as a player? Do you have something in mind? If not, let us help you find it. What do you want to do? What do you think you're interested in? Let's do these things. So being open minded and coachable, telling me what you want to be like. How can I help you grow? And it's like you always interact with these players where you lead them to the water. You lead the horse to the water, but they don't drink it, right?
Yep.
So it's very hard to coach players like that, but it's very great to coach players who are like, you tell them what to do. Like it's like creating like an art piece. It's like they're copying you exactly the way you say it, and that's like great. That's just great for me. I mean, coachable players are the best. This is one thing that I will always drill into any student, any high schooler. It's like good grades and being coachable.
Yep. I would agree with both of those, especially the grades part, because you have to be eligible to play, and that's the thing.
Yeah,
Like for some students, they don't have a good reason to be eligible.
yeah,
Sometimes, and so I've had students that tell me like esports is the only reason they showed up to school today. I'm like, great, now go to class and pass. I mean, you showed up. That's step one. Step two, you got passed. And then you talk about the coachability part of it. Yeah, I think that's something I've seen growth in some students who come in
yeah,
and they become that traditional gamer in the basement at home at first,
yeah,
like just playing by themselves. But then through coaching, they become somebody who can learn more. They're a
yeah.
better team player. And that's nice to see that growth in the kids, especially because hopefully they get to become a senior, and that's a skill that they take moving forward.
Right. Because I mean, if you can be coachable in a game, you can be coachable in life. I want these kids to be able to learn something as they go and be able to be coached in not only their games but in life. Just like, hey, your boss needs you to do this. Can you learn how to do it? And they'd be like, I can do it if you can teach me. That's the
Yep.
mindset that I want.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a mindset we want to see in all of our kids, especially if esports can get them to it.
Yeah, 100%.
Um, so what are some of the obstacles you had to overcome in your program or maybe with teams?
So I guess the big obstacle for a lot of programs, I'm very blessed to be at BV. BV is a great supportive school and university, so I don't have to really worry about it. But there's always issues with teams and universities. Like with a university that's big as ours, funding is always going to be an issue, right? You always
Yep.
have to talk about how do we get funding, how do we pay for these coaches, how do we get more PCs, and it's expensive because you have to show that you can retain these students, you have to show that you can recruit these students. So budget's always a big issue, and then space. Where do you put all these students? You have 90 something students, where do you put them all? I currently have, I think, 60 students right now in my rooms playing, competing. So like space is always a big issue. I mean, if you compare our rooms to your rooms, it's like you have what, 15, 20 PCs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've close to like 60. So, and that's
Yeah.
three rooms. And I still have 90 players, right? So there's still players who are going to be misplaced because there's just not enough space and not enough budget to increase that space.
Yep.
In terms of team wise, it's always hard to refuel a lot of these teams after they graduate, right? It's like I can retain the students and graduate and recruit a lot more, but it's not always the same game. Since there's always an exchanging game, Marvel Rivals came out. Okay,
Yep.
now some of our Overwatch players want to play Marvel Rivals. How do I refill my Overwatch team? And it's so far and so forth. Like even though I have a humongous program, it's always hard to find players for certain games because you're like they want to play another game or they just
Mhm.
don't like that game no more. So games come in and die fast. They die. They
Yep.
either come in, like I believe what Smite was one that was at state for a little bit and that died pretty fast. League of Legends was another one that had like 16 teams and now it only has like three. Um, yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard. There's not a lot of kids that goes around as well because there's like 15, 16 schools in Iowa that has an esports program, and they're all trying to recruit the same kid.
Hmm.
It's tough. It's tough.
Now, luckily, in the state of Iowa, we do have a lot of schools that are playing esports, but
Yeah,
getting those kids connected to university is a constant issue I've seen just because
yeah,
we haven't built up maybe those traditional recruiting pathways. It's on you guys as coaches a whole lot to visit schools, get information out there. It's also on us coaches at the high school level to make sure our students know this is an opportunity for you. I always love it when a parent comes up to me after a kid gets offered a scholarship and they're like, I didn't know this was a possibility. And I'm like, yeah, since day
yeah,
one, I've been saying this to the kids. This is an opportunity for you. And you don't have to be the number one player, but you at least have to be a good teammate, willing to put in the time and effort,
yep,
and you should have some skill. That helps.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, the biggest thing I tell students that come in is like we are a program that looks for growth. If you can show me that you can grow and be not even it doesn't even have to be a better player, but a better person, that just helps. It just helps a
yeah,
lot. But yeah, that's like you said, it's so tough because sometimes I reach out to high school coaches or I'm always posting in the high school Discord, hey, let me come visit, and then coaches never respond or coaches are like
yeah,
just they just don't know. And these students who are just not don't make the state or are never at state, we never get to interact with them or get introduced to them because either their coaches don't respond to us or people don't respond to us or we just never have a chance to reach out to the student.
yeah,
So it happens a lot.
yeah. And I know I've been guilty of that, but it's been like all of a sudden we get to this very busy period and I lose track of that, or
Yeah.
maybe I'm not so sure at the right time for some of the kids. But yeah, no, I love it when coaches come in from the college level to talk with the kids because I think
Yeah.
one, usually it's during a practice, so you guys can give me your expertise because I don't know the games as well. Like again, I
Yep.
coach as best as I can, but we got Overwatch, we got Rocket League going on in the same room. And I don't know the characters' names for Overwatch anymore. I've given up on that. And Rocket League, I can play at a base level, but they get in there. So I'm a coach, not the player role.
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoy it too, because you guys are always willing to do that, and I've always enjoyed that. Because it helps you guys, it helps me as a
Yeah.
high school coach, it helps the players.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, anytime you can build a relationship and build a pipeline to any school, it's a great opportunity for you to do it. I mean,
Yep.
that's my advice to any college coach is like go into that classroom, talk to those students, be there in person. A lot of college coaches struggle with that. They struggle, being there in person and actually meeting the students and talking to them and making a connection. So if that's any advice, make a connection, be there for the students. It'll impact them for life. Like they'll remember
Yep.
you for life.
Yeah, I think you could probably highlight Buena Vista being on a lake. It's a beautiful spot there. I was up there for a teacher conference long while back, and
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, this has got to be a selling point because I
Oh,
love
yeah.
this. They can actually go outside, touch some grass next to the water, and then get back inside and play games. They don't have to be inside
Exactly.
all day.
Sometimes, hey, if so, there's a couple of my teams who, if they win national championships, they'll jump into the lake.
That's a good thing. Maybe not
Yeah,
today. Today might be a little cold.
yeah,
But, polar plunge, drill a hole, you're good to go.
yeah, exactly, exactly, exactly.
I know I personally would like to. I think I want to need to visit more of the college programs just to see what the rooms are set up like.
Yeah,
You talk about the budget thing. That's a issue I see at a lot of levels. Some people get very lucky with that. We had a brand new computer lab, so we were able to use that. I didn't have to worry about buying computers, but I also know in my head there's this ticking clock of those AutoCAD designed computers are eventually not going to be esports capable.
yeah.
And we just bought two Nintendo Switch 2s, so I'm okay with my Switches for a little while.
Mhm.
But it is gonna be that thing of like there's this dollar amount in your head, like if I don't have this money, I can't keep the program being competitive because my machines are not going to run really well at all. And I think that's the case. Every coach is probably worried about that just because technology keeps advancing and these games get more and more complex.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's an issue that we face all the time and a dilemma that we face. So, something that BVU has been trying to implement is computer refreshes. So, having a contract where we either buy or rent to have a consistent contract to be able to refresh those as well. Be like, okay, we had them for 2 years. Can we give them back and refresh those computers or upgrade them in some way within our contract? So that's something that like a lot of coaches will try to. Well, they probably won't even know, but that's something that we'll try to do. And it's something that we're trying to approach. And we're trying that this year because we kind of realized that, like you said, a lot of the PCs are outdated. And when they're outdated, the frame start like flickering, the computer starts shutting
Yep.
off for some reason. Like some of the games are super laggy. Like it's very tough. It gives competitive advantage to your competitors if you can't play at the highest level, if you can't see that spec that comes through and headshot them or whatever. Um, it's a problem at every university where funding is very scarce for a lot of equipment sometimes, or you might
Yep.
not have enough budget to do something. So, one year you're traveling a lot, and that's what your whole budget's used for, and then the other year you have to use that whole budget to buy PCs and you can't travel. So there's always dilemmas with the budget and stuff like that. But I'm blessed enough where our budget is solid enough where we can kind of do a lot of cool stuff with it. Like we went to Boston last year. I know I talked to your students about that. So we went to
Yep.
Boston. We set up a trip to South Korea this May, which we're hopefully trying to do. But if we don't get enough students, we'll push it to next May. My students get to travel almost every single month. Like one of my teams are always traveling, so I'm always traveling every month, and I'm very blessed to be part of this program and have what we have.
That's a great thing to highlight to kids. Like this will get to go new play. Like I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, travel over to Asia to play esports. That is definitely an experience that not everyone's going to have, and
exactly.
that'd be a great thing to have that you always remember.
Yeah, yeah.
So we've talked about some of the challenges. So let's get to the fun part. Where are some of the wins? What are those big wins that you say this is why we do esports?
Yeah, some of the wins is just being able, like I said, being able to see students who struggled in the beginning and finally find their pace. So I had a student who played Smash their freshman year, but really wanted to do Mario Kart. Year two, I was at BV. I was like, all right, let's start a Mario Kart team. I think we'll be really, really good. So we picked up a few Mario Kart players and they switched to Mario Kart and they started doing amazingly well. So being able to see these students use this as a vehicle to continue graduating has been amazing. So last year was our first year where we had our first recruiting class graduate. So that last year was year four of BV's program, and every single year from here on out, we'll have another graduating class, which is
Yep.
amazing. And that's the biggest win for me for any college, right? And watch any student is to able to see them go through your program and become amazing, beautiful, like great adults, man. It's just crazy. So I'm always checking up on my former students and be like, yo, like how are you doing? How's it going? And it's amazing to see them doing great things. Even though it's not in esports, you could just tell that they're doing amazing. They're just being amazing human
Yep.
beings.
Yeah, no, being able to, that's one thing I've enjoyed as a high school coach. I get to see them graduate. I've had a couple of former players come back and help assistant coach for our teams because the esports meant so much to them while they're there.
Yeah.
They're still in the area. They're willing to come in and they have the expertise and always take advantage of that. And that's been a great thing for me to see as a coach too. You see all that going.
Yeah.
I forgot to add this in the questions, so I'm going to apologize for that. But a couple weeks ago, I had Coach Alney on here, and he
Yeah.
did ask me a question. So I'm going to turn around the question: what would be something you would like to see in esports in the next 5 years? It could be at the collegiate level or overall, like something like this will make things better if this were to happen.
So I wish there was so in collegiate there's a lot of conferences. I believe I did a talk with Esports Foundry and they're saying that there's over 67 conferences currently in collegiate. So that's something I want to see is like a more it might be wrong because I know like the traditional sports are like they're trying to regionalize their conferences. So they're going from what we're doing currently, we're trying to do what we're doing, they're trying to do what we're doing currently in collegiate but we're trying to do what they're doing and they're trying to switch out. So I think I want to see a more unified esports conference or more
Yep.
unified like pipeline, from high school to college. It's very hard because every single league is different. Every high school league is different. You don't know what the type of quality the league is. Sometimes it might not be great and you might not be getting a quality player. We don't know what the eligibility requirements and stuff like that as well. Luckily, Iowa High School Esports League is ran really well. So
Yep.
we know the quality of students that we're getting and the eligibility requirements and stuff like that as well. But yeah, in 5 years, one thing I would love to see is one, more unified pipeline, two, more unified leagues, because I just think that would just help a lot more, even if it's just one or two big leagues to visualize. Three, somehow, some way, I would love to see more colleges get into it. I think we have a lot of Division 3, Division 2 JUCO colleges, right?
Yep.
But we have zero Division 1 colleges. I mean, there's a couple, there's a few. I want to say zero. There's a few, but not as much as I would love to see. I think the minute the Division 1 colleges get into it, I think it'll blow up again.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, there are a couple big schools that do this, but
Mhm.
not like I of course, am in the Iowa State University. I'm in the neighborhood right here,
Yeah,
but they have a club team. They don't have
yeah,
a official like activity team, I would
Yeah,
say.
varsity program. Yeah,
Yeah, and so they can't offer scholarships. There's a lot that they can't do. The lack of funding in a lot of cases. They
yeah,
seem to have some success, but it's all on them. Whereas, if they go 20 miles, oh, sorry, more than 20 miles, they go down the road to like Marshalltown Community College, full-fledged program, scholarship and all that. But I'm talking to one of my esports kids today. I'm like, hey, I know you're a junior. What are we thinking about college for next year? He's like, well, I'm probably thinking Iowa State. I'm like, all right, change your mind, talk to me so I can talk to those coaches because there's
yeah.
not much you can talk with at Iowa State. It would
Exactly.
be, and it may not be great for some smaller schools if the bigger schools get involved, but
Yeah,
I think it'd be great. I think what you said that the more unified leagues would be great because talking with some college coaches, it seems like, yeah, I'm doing this league, I'm doing this league, I'm doing this league. I'm like, that's got to be a pain in the butt to organize, especially with different seasons, different maybe rule sets.
yeah,
Um, it can make things a little chaotic and not knowing who you're facing. And hopefully, these state leagues getting better and better organized will help the college leagues with that too. Um, yeah, it seems to be all a big growth issue this last 5-10 years.
yeah. Also, there's another big issue where like there's a lot less students in just America in general right now, where there's not a lot of people who want to go to college right now, and
Yep.
that's totally fine. But yeah, I mean, even if Division 1 schools come in and they choose to do varsity programs, it'll be the same as Division 3 sports, Division 2 sports. It'll still, we'll still get people. It just won't be as much.
Yep. Yeah, that's something we've seen in our data too. Fewer students wanting to go to college. It is what it is with that. So,
Yeah.
all right. So we're going to, anything else you want to share before we get to that last question?
Um, no, I mean, I guess one last future thing I would like to see is fighting games within the high school leagues. I want to see fighting games. I'm a fighting game player myself. I would love to see fighting games into it. I know there's a big push for 2XKO, which is the Riot fighting game,
Yep.
to get into the Iowa High School League. So I hope to see that happen. And, that's a dream. I've obviously made a niche into the collegiate scene, but hopefully I can do it with the high school scene as well. And we can make something cool happen.
I think we would introduce some more kids into the program. And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm curious to see where we go as a state league and what games we adopt because you already kind of talked about league has kind of gone away for us due to numbers. Same
Yeah.
thing with Smite.
Yeah.
Um, the Overwatch rivals issue is kind of an interesting one there.
Yeah.
Um, Valorant, I expected to see those numbers go up once it made the jump to console,
Yeah.
but I'm not seeing that in my school. So I don't know if we're going to see that overall. Maybe it takes some time, but you know, it's always a fun conversation what games to add. And then of
Yeah.
course somebody will throw in like lawnmower simulator. We're not going to add that. We're
Right.
not adding that one.
Yeah, that's another thing that I wish I could see at more schools. I know for at least Iowa, the metro area is left out pretty
Yep.
hard, pretty heavily. There's a lot of metro areas that in Iowa where they're just not part of the esports league. So Des Moines being one of them, Sioux City being another one, Council Bluffs being another one. Like that, those are three major cities in Iowa that just doesn't have esports programs.
Yep. I that is surprising to me, but also knowing that they have to prioritize it and we're declining budgets.
Yeah,
It's kind of reason why like Iowa City started with Iowa City West before
yeah,
moving to the buildings, kind of having some sort of team.
yeah,
Cedar Rapids being a similar case there where you had Kennedy, but we still don't see much coming out of Jefferson or Wash, two of the other big schools there.
yeah.
Even though Kennedy has had so much success with the program, I think well, this is why we do it. All right, so we're gonna get to the last question, which is the fun question. What video game are you currently playing the most, and what's your
Yeah.
favorite game of all time?
Current game I'm currently playing the most is Teamfight Tactics. I love it. I hit Challenger on it, so it's one of the games where I'm like kind of competitive in it, but like also it's like a good game to just turn my brain off and just play.
Yep.
Another one is Tekken. Obviously, I'm a fighting game player, so I've been playing that a lot, traveling a lot. Still kind of baby sponsored to play it. So I just came back from Chicago from a major watching Tekken games. So yeah, that's the two games I'm playing currently, playing a lot. And my favorite video game of all time is Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3.
All right.
Long name.
Definitely a game I played, and I definitely
Okay.
enjoy the Dragon Ball Z games.
Yep.
Now most of them. No, that's just always going to be interesting. I like ending with that question because it's curious to see, especially as I have some older coaches and younger coaches, what everybody's playing. It's, because we are gamers too. So,
Yeah, exactly.
all right. Well, I want to thank you again for being on the program, and good luck to you at your program at Buena Vista. So hopefully, if any high school players are listening, you check them
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And otherwise, keep listening to the podcast. We got more people coming on.
Sounds good. Thank you for having me.